Welcome to Knaresborough, a market town in North Yorkshire, England. We've got some spooky spots to visit and some stories to tell from here today. And then join me tonight in Knaresborough's most haunted inn, where we will try and communicate with the dead. So the first place we're at today is this little riverside cave called St. Robert's Cave. St. Robert of Knaresborough, originally called Robert Flower, was born in York to a wealthy family. His father, Tuke Flower, was Mayor of York. Robert had no desire to follow in his father's footsteps and instead chose to enter the church. He started out as a novice monk in Northumberland and later in Fountains Abbey. He also decided that life wasn't for him as well, and he came to Knaresborough away from all of that to live out his life as a hermit. Wherever he settled in the area, he began to attract followers, mostly poor, sick, and spiritually in need. His reputation grew as a holy man, but so did the anger towards him by the authorities in the area. Because of this, he again wanted to get away and chose to become a hermit and live in this cave. There was another hermit who was already living here, and Robert decided to join him. He wasn't any hermit though, he was a knight hiding from King Richard. The knight eventually died and this cave was left to Robert. Unfortunately for him, people wouldn't bloody leave him alone. Thousands of people came here to see him to obtain spiritual guidance and to be healed of their ailments. This caught the attention of the king while he was visiting Knaresborough Castle. The king and some troops came here to see Robert for themselves. He was in mid-prayer inside the cave and one of the soldiers said, "Get up off your knees, the king is here." Robert came out of the cave and said, "King? I see no king." The king came forward and Robert picked up some corn which he had grown himself. He held it out to the king and said, "When you can make something as simple and as beautiful as that out of nothing, then I will call you king." His point being that he only knew one king, his almighty king of creation. The king, being used to having yes men around him, he wasn't angry. He was actually impressed by Robert. He then granted him 40 acres of land alongside this river. Robert had his brother, who was now Mayor of York, send his craftsmen down here and build a chapel for him. But just like the abbey, which you may have seen in my latest video at Richmond, it was later destroyed by King Henry VIII. One thing left of that chapel, which you can see here, is his grave. His body was eventually moved to the priory on Abbey Road. That was built because of his fame. The thing is though, St. Robert and the knight aren't the only people to have died in this cave. There have been many reports of ghostly figures wandering around these woods and around this cave. Mysterious dark shadows. But do we finally now know who it could be? Recently, North Yorkshire County Records Office have taken deposit of a file of papers from a coroner's inquest held in 1758, which is connected to one of the most notorious murder cases of the 18th century, the murder of Daniel Clark by Eugene Aram. A local farmer named William Thompson discovered a skeleton nearby at Thistle Hill. Because of the broken bones, Thompson believed the skeleton to be a murder victim. Two local surgeons inspected the skeleton and concluded that the remains had been in the ground for 13 or 14 years, which was around the time Daniel Clark, a local shoemaker, famously vanished. Several of Daniel's neighbours were called to give evidence to the inquest. William Tootin stated that he knew Clark very well and had last seen him at 3 AM on the 8th of February 1744. He said talking to Clark in the street, he had observed by moonlight Eugene Aram and Richard Houseman standing at Clark's cellar door. William recalled that after their conversation had finished, Clark went away towards them and he had never seen them again. There were various other reports by people, all leading back to Eugene Aram, including his ex-wife Anna. She said that her husband had been home with Clark and Richard Houseman on the night of Clark's disappearance. The three men went out at 3 a.m. with her husband returning with Houseman 2 hours later. Anna then overheard her husband discussing with Houseman whether or not to murder her as they were burning some of his clothes. Anna stated that she never saw Clark again, telling the inquest clearly that she believed him to have been murdered by her husband. The inquest found that the remains were indeed those of Daniel Clark who had been murdered. Richard Houseman admitted to being present when Aram murdered Clark, though stated that it took place in St. Robert's Cave and that they buried the body on Thistle Hill. Following Houseman's admission, they then found another skeleton here at the cave and Eugene was arrested. He was tried for murder and executed in York. His body was gibbeted just outside of Knaresborough and his skull was sent to royal surgeons who have since transferred it to the museum at King's Lynn, which you can still go and see to this day, only a few feet from where the school he worked at once stood. There's also a fragment of skull believed to be from the victim Daniel Clark and a small pillbox made of wood from the gallows of which Eugene was hanged. People have theorized that the ghostly dark shadows that they could have seen around here could be the spirit of Eugene. After all, his body was hung in the gibbet cage, and if you want to see another story of gibbeting, check out my video at Winter's Gibbet. So with his body not having a Christian burial, his spirit wasn't able to pass over into heaven. He wasn't able to go up there. I can imagine he wasn't wanting to go down there either. So is he left to wander here, condemned for the rest of time to haunt the area around the cave where he committed the murder? Okay, so the next place here hasn't really had any spooky tales besides one that may actually be connected to here. This is the Chapel of Our Lady Crag, a chapel carved into the cliff face here, also along the riverside just like St. Robert's Cave. This chapel is still used today every Sunday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m, which I just think is amazing. But it was first built back in 1408 by John the Mason after being granted permission by King Henry VIII. John wanted to build this to thank the Virgin Mary for saving his son. The boy had survived rockfall while the pair were quarrying stone, and the medieval Mason said the miracle of the intervention was because of the Holy Mother. The very cool thing about here, as you can see, is this carving of a Templar knight. The Knights Templar were Christian warrior monks who defended holy sites and of course were famous for their part in the Crusades. I found a spooky story from around here that said there was sighting of spirits that looked like knights fighting with swords in a nearby forest, all dressed in white. Could this be spirits of Templar knights defending this place from invaders? A battle playing on repeat? This is just my theory, but with that story being so close to here and this place being known for its Templar knight carving, could it be connected? Also, outside of here, if you look below this new brick to the original brick, there's actually a Templar Knight's cross carved into there as well. So they were definitely connected here, but I don't know. If I could see ghostly knights mid-battle here, I don't know what I would do. But then again, even if I got that on video, people would just think it was CGI, right? So, back at another cave, England's oldest tourist attraction. We are at Mother Shipton's cave, which has operated since 1630. In 1488, a baby was born in this cave, known then as Ursula-son-Thiel, but in time she became known as Mother Shipton. Although little is known about her parents, legend has it that she was born during a violent thunderstorm in a cave on the banks of the river we've been next to all day. Her mother, Agatha, was just 15 years old when she gave birth, and despite being dragged before the local magistrate, she never revealed who the father was. With no family and no friends to support her, Agatha raised Ursula in this cave on her own for 2 years before her family took pity on them and took them in. Agatha was taken to a convent far away, and she never seen Ursula again because she passed away only a few years later. Being 15 when she gave birth, with no means to support herself, leaving the baby as an orphan, people believed she had fallen under the influence of the devil. Some legends say that Agatha herself was a witch and summoned the devil to conceive the baby. Ursula grew up around Knaresborough, and it's said that she was a strange child, both in looks and in nature. Her nose was large and crooked, her back was bent and her legs twisted. People say just like a witch. She was taunted and teased, and in time she learned she was best off on her own. She went to live by herself back in the cave where she was born, where she studied the forest, the flowers and herbs, and made remedies and potions with them. When she was 24, she met a young man named Tobias Shipton, a carpenter from York. Unfortunately, Tobias died only a few years later before they had any children. But Ursula kept his name, Shipton. The mother part followed later when she was an old lady. As well as making traditional remedies, Mother Shipton had another gift. It was said that she could predict the future. It started off with small premonitions, but as she practiced, she became more confident and her powers grew. Soon, she was known as Knaresborough's prophetess, a witch. She made her living telling the future and warning those who asked of what was to come. It was said that she predicted the fates of several rulers within and just after her lifetime, as well as the invention of iron ships and the Great Fire of London, and also the defeat of the Spanish Armada. One other thing that gave her the reputation of being a witch is the magic well which she lived next to. The strange thing about this well and the water here is that it turns things to stone. But no, this isn't some kind of made-up story or fairy tale. It's known as the petrifying well. A unique high mineral content in the water turns items to stone. A small teddy bear takes around 3 to 5 months, and you can even pick one of those up yourself from the gift shop. I've actually brought something with me, which I'm going to hook up there and see what happens in a few months if it's still there. Now, I am pretty proud of hanging that up there. And it was kind of funny, just after I hooked it up there as well, one little kid said, "Look, Mum, a ghost detecting device." As well as picking up teddy bears in the museum, you can also see other petrified items donated by celebrities. It's very fun to look around and see who's been here and what they've left. The museum also contains this creepy figure of Mother Shipton at the age of 73 when she died in 1561. As you can see, the memory of her unusual life and powers are still talked about and celebrated to this day. And right next to here, a local inn is also named after her, and it's said to be the most haunted inn in Knaresborough. So why don't we go there now and see what it's all about? And here it is, Mother Shipton's Inn. It served as a coaching inn, ale house and a gathering place for locals and travellers since the 16th century. I have to say, if you are ever around here, you have to come here. It's ran by some amazing people, Tony and Becky. They do amazing food and it's just a good spot for a chill and a drink. You cannot beat an old English pub. Now, I have read a lot of spooky stories about this place online before coming, and the spooky stories were okay, yeah. But when I got here today, people found out why I was here, why I had a camera. They started telling me stories. Now, people have said here objects move on their own, glasses might fall, doors might open and shut, but the most common thing that people have said all day, not even talking to each other, is they see shadow figures here. Black shadows of people walking around or sitting in the chairs. It's just been absolutely crazy to hear some of these stories. Today has made me feel like this place is the place to be. Now, there's been multiple reports of shadow figures by different people throughout the day as I've been here, sighted here on these stairs. So I've got a CCTV camera pointing there. Hopefully we can catch something in this room because this seems like a very active area. I've also set up a CCTV camera on the doorway, which Tony and the barmaid said they both seen shadow figures walk by. These two spots seem like very hot spots, but apparently the most freakiest place of all with the most activity is the cellar. So I'm going to leave that for last, and I'm quite nervous for going down there, I won't lie. Okay, so let's check this place out. So guys, I think if we head over into here, here's the entrance. Down there, the toilets are just around here. And apparently there's some funky things that go down in there as well. We've got the bar. This is the doorway where things are seen, so I want to place the music box down here somewhere because I think that would be a good spot to place that. So now if that thing goes off, that would be crazy. One cool thing about this place here, guys, is this table here. Now you might be thinking, well, it's just a table, but it's not. Check this out. How cool is this? This table from Scotton Hall belonged to Guy Fawkes, where he resided there in the year 1592. What an absolute historical figure and historical thing to have in your pub. That is just freaking cool. Do you think Guy Fawkes ever pays a visit and sits at his table and has some food and drinks? Look at this creepy thing. Damn. Oh man, Mother Shipton's a freak. Like I said earlier, you've kind of got to feel sorry for Mother Shipton, haven't you? She was basically just a normal lady, of course, that was like all witches. It was, you know, more or less, it could have been your grandmother. Got accused of all of these things, and she got accused of it because of just the way she looked, really. So you've got to just feel bad for her, haven't you? Got bullied and picked on and went back to live in the cave. Now we're going to go to the toilets because people see things in here. And apparently it's not really the gentleman's. We'll have a quick look. But it's actually meant to be the ladies where people see things. So it just makes you think, doesn't it? What is going on in here? Why do people keep seeing things in here? Now, with these stairs being a hot spot, like I said earlier, do you think we should maybe place some devices around here as well? Maybe just place this REM pod at the top of the stairs. Because if someone's going to come past here, that might be a good spot to put that, because surely then they would set it off, right? Now, the thing is about this place, with kind of the many stories that I've heard, I don't really feel like I've got someone who I could call out for. Hey, this spirit, are you around? Because it just seems like people have seen a lot of shadow figures. Now, is it that John, the former owner? It also said online that an old landlord unfortunately took his own life here, and people have said that it's him still here who could be behind the footsteps, the doors opening and closing, and the objects moving on their own. Now, I did ask Tony, the owner, about that, and he said he's heard so many stories. Who knows what's real and what's not? But the thing is, the reports I've read online talking about all of these shadow figures, people are putting it down to that landlord, then coming here today and people telling me about all of these shadow figures they see. Is that kind of a lining up? Or could it be someone else? Where I'm stood in this exact spot here is where the band saw the man and the lady. Now, that sounds like it's not the landlord, because it seemed as if those two were from a long time ago. There was one customer in here who said that he was actually playing in a band, practicing up here. And they had this room all to themselves. So they had the door shut there and a drape over it so people knew not to come in this area. Well, he said that when he was playing up on the top bit there, he looked down and thought, oh, damn. There was two people there stood watching, a man and a woman. He said that he didn't really expect anyone to be watching. And the strange thing is, then his bandmate also seen them. His bandmate said, hey, there's two people watching. They're not meant to be in here. I'm becoming more and more skeptical of this. But when I hear things like that, two people seeing the same thing, that just makes me think there's got to be something going on, right? I'm also going to place the bell at the bar, because that's kind of somewhere where you would expect it to be, right? I've just seen Mother Shipton in that, look, I've seen her peeking her head around the corner through the mirror, but it's the model of Mother Shipton. So one thing I wanted to try, guys, because in my other episode, when I heard a knock, now it was just a knock, but it was very strange. Some people said that it could have been the camera zooming out, because sometimes that's a thing on people's cameras. So if we just have a quick zoom in there and then zoom out quickly like I did, let's just see if we can hear a knock. Now, I don't hear anything. I wonder if you can hear anything on camera, because I couldn't hear any knock there. And the strange thing when I was at the other place is I heard the knock physically around me. It didn't sound like it was coming from the camera, which was very weird. And it sounded like it was on wood. There was no wood there. It was only stone. So if anybody is listening, I think I might have had some communication with someone at another place by a knock. Can anyone in this place do a knock for me so I know that you are here? Do you know the thing about this place, guys? I'm not going to say if there is any spirits here. I'm going to just act as if I believe there's spirits here. Now, obviously, I'm not just going to go along with any random thing and claim it's paranormal, but I feel it might be kind of a little bit insulting to them to say, if you're here. Because if I was a spirit, I'd be like, I'm here, motherfucker. So I'm going to just ask out. And I just want to just first introduce myself. If you are around in this room at the minute, you might be in the other room, but I'm coming in there soon. My name is Mythos, if you can hear me. And I'm just coming here to try and communicate with you. try and talk to you because I'm not sure if many people do, and I am just trying to find out if the afterlife is real. Now, like I was saying, I think I might have had a knock from the other side at another place. Do you think you could provide a knock for me now, just to let me know you are here and around and are listening? Now, like I was saying, spirits, I am not sure who is still in this pub, in this inn. But I want to try something new tonight, which I've not tried before. Maybe you could let me know your name and try and talk to me. Because I actually have this little device. Now, all it is just a tiny little black box here. But the thing with this is it might be able to let me hear your voice. So when I put this down on this table, you're going to see a little red light pop on. It's just going to let me hear your voice. Hopefully. Okay, so spirits of the Mother Shipton's Inn. I'm just going to place this down now and press record, and that's just going to let me hear your voice if you would like to talk. Actually, I'm going to put it on this table so I'm not affecting the table. So, Mother Shipton's Inn spirits, I don't know your names, unfortunately, but it seems like many people have seen you. Now, that seems very uncommon for people to see spirits, but here it sounds like it's a very common thing. Can you just let me know if you are around now, please? Okay, so I've never tried this before, so this is going to be freaky if something pops up. And I was doing some testing with this before today, actually, and for a little cheap recorder, it really freaking seems good. It really captured my voice good. So if there is anyone speaking, fingers crossed we might hear their voice. Let's go. Now, that seems very uncommon for people to see spirits, but here it sounds like it's a very common thing. Can you just let me know if you are around now, please? That sounds so clear. There's some cars going by. If you are speaking right now, can you just try again now, please? Can you say your name? Nothing that time. Now, can I just ask, please, why are you here? What's happened? What are you doing here still? Can I just ask, first of all, I should have asked this. I'm so sorry, but do you know you have passed on? If you are here, are you staying here just because you love the place and maybe spent a lot of time here? Or are you stuck here somehow? Okay, so I'm just going to play this back. Okay, so nothing there. Which kind of isn't surprising, to be honest. I do watch a lot of people with EVP recorders and stuff, and I've never really heard anything which I think, wow, that was a real voice. No luck there, but I'm not going to give up just yet with my trust for EVPs. I'm going to try again at the other bar later, and also at the end when we go down into the cellar. Are you the fucking bastard? Now, one other thing I thought you guys would love are these little cheeky cat balls. Now, I'm actually doing an experiment video with these, so I thought this might be a perfect place to bring them. So I just want to put them down somewhere that they're not going to roll. Seems like a sturdy spot. Why don't we put another one on there? And why don't we put one on the Guy Fawkes table? I'll just borrow that, thank you. Okay. Now, I've not heard anything really about this table being haunted or anything like that, but with it being such a cool piece of history, you never know, do you? Something could be going on, so... Can you just please stop bloody lighting up, Catball? Okay. Now, if that's flashing, I'm not taking that as a ghost at all, of course, because I don't really trust these things. Like I say, I'm just testing them out at the minute, and there we go, it's stopped. So, let me just try and bounce around this table a little bit, just to kind of... It's not setting off, is it? Oh, okay. So, you know, I guess if that does get set off, then there's kind of maybe more to it, because I can't seem to set it off myself by moving around it. So why don't we just try that then? I'm going to sit down here. Why don't we try an experiment with a cat ball? Now, spirits of the Mother Shipton's Inn, there is a theory out there. Some people say that you are able to touch these little balls here and make them light up. They're just a little toy, but all it will do is just show me that you are around. Now, I think I do believe you are around, because there's been so many people who have said that they have seen you. But just to confirm it for me, please, do you think you could touch this thing right in front of me here and light it up? So how about a countdown from 5, and on 1, you can touch this right in front of me. If you touch it, I can get a drink. We can have a drink at the Guy Fawkes table. Okay, so if you have joined me, I'm going to count down from 5, and on 1, please press this little ball in front of me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That would have been awesome, wouldn't it? All you've got to do is tap it. Even better yet, if you can throw it across the room, that would be insane. I would love that. Please do it. You can break it if you want. Is there anyone back here in this room? I think this is called the garden room, because we are just looking right out at the garden. Is there anyone drinking in here? Would you like another drink? It's on me. I'll make you a deal. Do you think you can knock on the table for me? And if you can knock loud enough that I can hear you, I'll get you a drink. I'll get you 2. Drinks on me. Can you please make a knock now so I can hear you? Do you want to talk? Or would you want me to get out? Are you tired of people saying that you are around and they want to talk to you? And you've just got to be careful, haven't you? Because with my light on, I'm shining it around. I've just seen a shadow down the stairs here. It made it look like there was a shadow here, but I think it was just the shadow of the chair on there, on the beams. Yeah, it was. It was just... You can just see behind it. But just when you're looking around and you just see it out the corner of your eye, it might just give you a little bit of a spook. Is that true? Is there someone in here? Shit, I best shut this window. Be people bloody breaking in. And there's no one out there. So I keep hearing something going on in this room. Now there's obviously a lot of machinery, so I haven't even thought about it. I've just put it down to kitchen noise, but the last noise was very loud. Is that someone trying to get my attention? Do you think you could do it again while I'm in here right now? You fucking bastard. It's this. It's got to be right. Whatever this is. Washing machine or something? Don't know what it is. I think that's I think that was the noise of what I've been hearing. I didn't think it was going to be anything crazy, because like I said, there's a lot of stuff in here, isn't there? Are you around here, spirit? That was a big fly there. Are you in the kitchen? Okay, so I just want to say to the shadow figure, whoever you may be, I'm sorry I don't know your name. People have seen you in this doorway. Do you think that you could possibly show yourself now? Because there's a little box on this corner here, and that plays music when someone walks in front of it. All you've got to do is this. Just like that. All you have to do is just walk in front of it. If you walk through that door, that will pick you up and play music. There's the cat ball, REM pod. So there's also another little device on the floor here. Now, don't be worried about it. It's just, again, technology from our time, and people say they use it to try and communicate with people in the afterlife like you. Now, as I said earlier, I am not sure if you actually know that that is the case. A lot of people say they see you here in this top area and walking up the stairs. Do you think it's possible to do that right now? All you've got to do is just walk past it, the same as the music box at the other end of the inn. If you just walk past this, or you could even just grab it, the metal stick that's popping out of it, you could just grab that and it will make a noise. Now there is one thing I want to try, and it's this Polaroid, because like people say, this is a kind of a hot spot for shadow figures around these stairs. Okay, so I'm just going to take a photo of this upper area where you have been seen a lot. Maybe it's multiple of you, but either way, people have seen you around this area. I am just hoping that once I take a photo here, that I could see you as well. Now don't worry about this, it's just something that shows me that you are around. It's not going to cause you any harm anyway, it's not going to capture your soul, it just kind of shows me that you're there. So I will count down from 3 to 1, and on 1, hopefully you can show yourself on the stairs. Okay, 3, 2, 1. So we'll just let that sort itself out for 5 minutes or so and check it out. 3, 2, 1. Again, wait for that to sort itself out. Okay, so it's been very quiet, hasn't it? And I actually didn't expect it with this place. I really thought there was going to be something going on. But I think it's time we go down to the cellar. So it's quite low in here, you've got to get right down. But there's meant to be a lot of activity down here, and with the age of this building, what's happened down here over the years, you could imagine many things. Now, I've seen a story online where there was apparently human remains dug up from here, and people kind of obviously related it to some crime that happened. But I tried to find out some more information on that, and I couldn't find much. Alright guys, so I am now in the pitch black, and all I've really got is my screen, so this is pretty weird. So I'm going to try and get the voice recorder out because I wanted to try that down here. Now, it's very, very loud down here, that's the only thing. So I just want to ask out if there is anybody around. The frickin' hell is that? This machine. So, Spirit of the Mother Shipton's in, I am in the basement now with this little device that you might have seen earlier if you were upstairs, or have you been down here all the time? Either way, I'll explain again. This little tiny box here, all it does is let me hear your voice. Now, it is quite loud down here, so you might need to try quite hard. And if you do, I really want to just say thank you, because that would mean a lot if I could hear your voice. So can I just ask if there is anybody here? I need to stand up a bit. And if you are here, can I just ask why? What are you doing down here? Do you live down here? And what's your name? Are you the fucking bastard? Motherfucker. Are you the dark shadow that people see upstairs? Hey, so we've got the Polaroids all developed. That is the upstairs area. We've got the other Shadow Man door. And we've got the basement. And that is the barrel roll where they get rolled down into the cellar. So, although it's been a pretty quiet night for me, not much has really happened, I still think that this place has got something to it. All of the stories I've heard today, there's just got to be something going on. I think this is a place where you maybe need to come quite often, not just a one-night investigation. I absolutely love this place. I think it's my new favourite place, the Mother Shipton's Inn. Such a cool old inn. So if they would have me back, I would love to come back another time and do another investigation, possibly with someone else. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video at the Mother Shipton's Inn. If you're around Knaresborough, make sure you come here and check them out. Make sure you subscribe to my channel because it's absolutely free, and I will see you in the next one.